Has this ever happened to you? You're browsing your favorite social media platform, or maybe gaming website, and from one day to the next, it's rapidly ruined by the overwhelming power of capital. And you think to yourself, how come there's no better way? Well, maybe there is. Uh, I found this website called Cohost thanks to a friend of mine, Saria, and I've been really enjoying it since. So the whole concept with it is that it's a social media platform that's built in a healthier way. And what does that mean exactly? Well, there's the way that the site and the company behind it is structured, and then there's also the way that the website doesn't reward the same kind of unhealthy behavior as on platforms such as Twitter, for example. So let's begin with how the site more corporately is structured. So this is a developer-owned website. There's no ad anywhere to be seen. So the way that the website is supported is through voluntary payments. So if you enjoy Cohost after trying it out, I highly recommend signing up for Cohost Plus, because this is how they pay for the various costs that come with a website like this: hosting and of course salaries for the people responsible with maintaining and adding new features to the site. And so as I said, no ads, and the posts that you're going to see are going to be the ones from people that you follow or bookmarks that you follow, and that's it. So really, Cohost Plus is how they make the money to pay for the website. Now, as far as building a site that in use is healthier, that mainly comes from, as I said, not rewarding kind of cloud chasing. So your feed is going to be in chronological order. There's no metrics to be seen, so there's no attempt at ratioing or anything. All this information is kind of kept hidden from the user. Even if you look at your followers list, the stat itself will be hidden. It's just a scrolling list. So, you know, if, for example, you lose a couple followers, you don't need to worry yourself over it. You don't even need to know that you lost followers. It's just a website that's built to not worry you with unnecessary metrics chasing, unlike the websites built by the big platform owners. So, now that the basics are covered, two main elements to a social media website. Of course, there's browsing posts and there's posting. So how it works with regards to browsing posts, of course, if you follow people, they'll be in your latest post feed. If you want to share that with people that follow you, there's of course a share button that you can either add your own comment to, or if you just press post now, then that's it, you know, it'll be shared as is. Then if you want to discover posts by people that you're not following, this is mainly done through tags, right? Because there's no equivalent to a For You page. There's no stuff that's popular right now, stuff like that. So if you want to discover stuff by new people that you don't have already followed, you can search for tags. So for example, let's do a search. Let's say I am a really big fan of the upcoming video game Mirama. I can search for it. I can see there's the page that I made for the game, but also there's a tag for it that I tag all my posts related to the game with. And then if that's something that interests you, you can bookmark it so that you have a shortcut available at all time to go back to a feed in chronological order of posts that have been tagged like this. So the Cohost global feed is kind of the tag that's used for general purpose posts. That's the equivalent of a general thread. So that's, you know, if you want to discover new people but not based on a specific interest. And likewise, if you have something that's just general stuff, then this is a totally valid tag to add. One that I really enjoy myself is the game dev tag, where people post all their game dev related posts, really breaking new ground in my explanations. But yeah, as I showed in search, you can of course bookmark tags that you like, and you can also do so if you have tags at the bottom of a post. So let's say a post is tagged Pico8, and I quite like that. Of course, here I was on my page, but I can also view for the general site, and I can bookmark it if that's something that I want to shortcut to in the future. So yeah, that's browsing. Always chronological, no sense of what's popular or not, just browsing cool people's posts. And yeah, just catering how you feel. Like, you can follow people that you want to see over and over again. And yeah, that's pretty much it for browsing. Now, when it comes to posting, the way that Cohost posts work, also known as chosting, is that you have a post button up here that accepts any kind of markdown. So this is not strictly text. You can add, for example, images, interactive elements. As long as it's valid markdown, it'll work. That being said, if you want just to create a post of like purely text or text and images, basic stuff like that, you don't even need to learn what markdown is. You can write equal text of any length. You can add images from the button right here, and that would be a totally valid post. But then if you want to go a little funkier with it, you can, for example, look at this reminder for markdown. You can see, for example, oh, I could add links or images in the middle of my post, and then do so here. And then one thing that I do recommend if you write a longer post is to add a read more button, so that I'll show it with my page. If it's shown on people's feeds, you have the short kind of summary of what the post is about, and then you can click read more to have the entire post, so that you don't take more space than you're comfortable taking on people's feeds. It's all up to you how you craft your posts, and I'll share one of the posts that I quite enjoy just to show how deep you can go with it. Here's one of my favorite posts. So this is, pure Markdown / CSS, but it's a conversation in the style of Disco Elysium. And then you can interact with it, a new conversation. So if you are an expert in CSS, you can make some truly, truly cool stuff. Otherwise, like, I'm not particularly good with it, so just posting text, totally valid. Text and illustration. The world is your oyster. Do as much or as little as you want in your posts, and you'll find people that are like-minded and are interested in what you got to say. So that kind of covered posting and discovering posts. Of course, this is where you put your tags so that you're discoverable by people that don't follow you. Last, I want to touch on something that's kind of cool. So that's something that they added recently that I think is quite a nice feature. So people that follow you are able to see what you have in your private contact info section, and people that you don't follow, so people that you follow are able to see your private contact info, but people that don't follow you, that you don't follow, can't. So, for example, if you had email addresses to be reached by people that you follow, or just other platforms outside of Cohost, that's a way to share with them without just broadcasting to the entire universe, with dedicated chost for places to reach you. So, yeah, that's a pretty cool feature. And the staff behind Cohost really is great. They keep adding requested features, and they're just like really cool folk in general. And in general, that's the vibe of the website. It's people that are being very open about their interests. It's a very more underground scene, a very queer scene, without any of the abuse that you can see on larger websites, which I think is really, really cool. And yeah, so far I've really been enjoying my time with it. So again, if you try out Cohost and you enjoy it, then do consider Cohost Plus to support the website and make sure that it lasts for months and months and months and months. And that's all I had for this little Cohost tutorial. So, bye-bye!